Meeting is now streaming live on YouTube.
No, we're not yet.
Not
I'll
yet.
get to that. It's hasn't done it yet.
Okay. Must be hard getting all those signals out from the middle of a farm field.
Yeah, I know. Okay, it looks like we're live. Well, it's still rolling. Okay, we're live. I would like to invite Nohc in. They are a great EDM group, and they are releasing a new song called New York Bitch. And I would like to introduce you to Cosmos Ohms.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, out there in Media Land. We're in the presence of Knock right now. We're just releasing a new song called New York Bitch, and we have the members of Knock. We have Suzanne Reel on my right, and then to my left, it's Chris Vaughn. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show, and tell us a little about New York Bitch.
Yeah, so it's our newest single out today on Play Records. It's been a great label, really supported the track. We've put out a bunch of kind of collaborations and feature songs with other artists. So this has been our first Nohc only single in 2 years. And I think there's a bit of a sonic change in growth and maturity between working with the other artists and just where we are coming along to as songwriters.
Sammy, I'm not hearing vocals here.
Check your
Now
video.
I can hear you.
Can you hear me? You
Yes,
can't hear them?
I cannot hear them yet.
Okay.
Nothing?
Ah, there we go. Chris, talk to me a little bit.
Yeah, the mic should work. Like Sammy here is
Okay, we're getting you now.
Okay.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we've got Chris Vaughn and we've got Suzanne Reel, and they're going to talk to you a little bit about a new song they're releasing. It's called New York Bitch, and it's on the, what is it, player label?
on Play Records,
Play Records.
run by Melee Fresh. So very excited about that. It's kind of a cool, gritty track. It's our first Nohc only release in 2 years now. We've done a lot of collaborations and a lot of featured projects, but this is Nohc, a chance to get our sound out there on our own.
Great. Let me ask you, what inspired this song?
The song kind of went through a lot of changes. It went from an extremely pop kind of track that was titled "Sue Sings Like Taylor," and then it just kind of morphed into something completely different as Chris just kept working on it, and then we just completely reconfigured the lyrics for it, and it became this. And we're extremely proud of it and excited how it came out.
Tell you what, when I first heard this, I thought this is really going to tweak your New York contingency.
I hope so. We may live in California now, but being from New York has, there's an attitude to that, and we definitely know the music and the people and the ideas of what that represents. So we hope this song brings a lot of that out in it.
This represents a departure. Most of your stuff has been, I guess, what I call EDM, electronic dance music. This still has the feeling of electronic dance music, but it's got a more, at least to me, more of a Brooklyn street feel to it. You
It,
know?
it definitely does, and that's the most exciting part of it. It just became this, and I think that the style of the song itself definitely influenced the direction we were taking it in, and then ultimately lyrically. But it definitely has that kind of like 90s New York and Brooklyn vibe.
Yeah, it's very immediate and very New York. New York's got a feeling all of its own. You know,
Of course.
you can take the boy or the girl out of New York, but you can't take the New York out of the boy or girl.
That's for sure.
You know, and if you travel around the world, you'll find anywhere you go, there's people from Brooklyn and from New York, you know, that you can relate to.
Yeah, so we think, I think writing a song for something like New York sounds daunting, and I'm glad I didn't think about it to this exact moment because it would have been. But since it was so natural, really listening back, and I really do think we, met like that challenge and that emotion, and really captured it in a very unique way that relates to what we've experienced and what we know of the greatest city in the world.
Let me ask you, because you guys have put out a couple of songs, three or four before, that you work with other producers, and seems like each producer you work with brings out another aspect or another facet of what Knox all about. Can you give us a little history on what brought Knock about? I know you're both rock and rollers and heavy metal and blues and all that stuff, and moving into EDM was it seems like it was a natural evolution.
Uh, Glad it looks that way. It definitely was a challenge at first. I think it kind of came from necessity. As bands break up, starting new ones comes with its own challenges, and this was a chance to get a core group that could do work and not have the, I don't want to say baggage because bands are amazing and you get the right people, it works, but less and less do you need to have the 4, 5, 6 piece ensemble to put out music, and this kind of was a reflection of that in the times we were transitioning out of that rock phase.
It seems like right around March, beginning of March, everything changed in our world, in America, really all around the planet. So it's been a real challenge to, I think, to stay alive in this and to stay creative and stay plugged into your audience.
No,
You know,
definitely. I mean, this time, I mean, if anything, this has definitely given us the luxury of just being able to solely focus our time on music and really just get our ducks in a row with how we want to kind of set the platform up for ourselves and what our focus was ultimately going to be.
it seems to me like it's continually morphing, which I think is a good thing.
Yeah, I think any great artist transitions, whether it's, you go back to the Beatles, the Beach Boys, Dylan, all those transitions up to today with, rappers like Kanye West and bands like Radiohead and whatnot. You grow as a musician, you find new things to, new tools and new ways of writing and presenting your voice. And, we're still learning that, and we're still inspired to try new things. So we'll see where Knock goes, but I think we found at least a path where we trust that we're getting to what we want to be.
How do you function as a unit? Who does what? Who comes up with the material? If this is crazy, call me crazy. But I think this is the heart of what we do as musicians and as artists. Um, who does what?
And the evolution of each song is a little bit different in the way that it's just kind of born in a sense. Sometimes we'll just start with something that I wrote lyrically, or he'll give me some music and then we'll kind of go from there. But most of the time, Chris is doing all the production work. He's playing guitar, he's triggering samples, and I try to help out on that front as much as I can, trying to learn more and more each day. But I focus more on the lyrics and the melodies for the song. And then we just kind of, hash out what we've got with each other and experiment and see what works best. And if it doesn't, then just hash it out and try new things. But yeah, that's pretty much the groundwork that each of us do.
What will be, you've got more new material that you're working on right now, getting ready to release.
Of course. Yeah.
What are the directions that the new material is moving in?
I think what we're really doing is probably a little more dubstep based, but we still have those other influences. So there's going to be stuff that probably feels a little more pop, some that feels a little closer to New York bitch and that kind of industrial feel. So, I think our focus is there, but the lane is still pretty wide. And then the fun of it is doing these features in collaboration with other artists. I think our next 3 songs coming out are all trance songs, and the 2 of us will never write a trance song, but we like working with other artists and the writing process and the chance to try different ideas vocally and melodically that don't fit into what we write day to day. So a little bit of everything.
I think that's a great way of expanding your territory and getting to explore new avenues that maybe wouldn't come to you by yourself.
Absolutely. And I think, especially with EDM, it's unique because a lot of the labels and the way things are built are very genre specific, even within dance music. Like our first single was on Armada Music, which is very trance focused. Our next big one was on Monster Cat, which is more future bass and melodic dubstep. And then this new one, Play Records, is a little more of the kind of industrial, maybe dubsteppy. So labels a little more specific. We just kind of keep bouncing around. It gives us a chance to show that I don't think an artist needs to be focused on one label sound in this genre, and we are finding ways to circumvent that and work with everybody.
I think that's great. Sue, you've got a one of a kind exotic voice.
Thank you.
Everything I've heard you do has blown me away. I mean, just,
Thank you.
You have a unique voice that's uniquely you, and I know it's a very plaintive and emotional charged voice, which I think you really zero in on a lot of people's feelings with that.
I know I struck a chord when I write something that makes me want to cry. So I'm glad I'm not trying to make anybody cry, but I'm glad that, I'm getting that emotional connection with our audience is wonderful. And it's been really cool to go from, just solely singing blues and rock music to exploring a whole other world that I didn't really think that I was ready for or equipped for as a singer, just because it was so different for me. Finding my lane in all this and really enjoying what we're doing.
How have you found this last period of time, like I said, since the virus hit, and it's really changed everything around us? It's I think we're just starting to trying to get our positions. It's a new time. It's a new challenge to me. Getting out there live is very right now almost prohibitive.
It's we've had to talk about this. We have a upcoming single coming out in October that we had a long debate with. If we should hold it off to 2021, wait till DJs are playing, see if it makes sense. So you're just trying to be creative. You want to get music out there, and you're just kind of hoping for the best. And I think it's giving a lot of people the chance to spend time and be creative and maybe find some new things out because they have the time. But I think the industry will be trying to catch up and figure out what to do with music this year for a little while, even after this whole thing is done.
It seems like to me the best way of getting stuff out there right now is either through Zoom or through Jamulus or through these different programs where you can put people together in 4 or 5 different rooms and it appears as one band.
Yeah, no, it's a, the technology we have is kind of amazing now, and the way musicians can interact and, to work together globally without having to be there. So, you're seeing
Yeah.
people use technology in cool ways.
And I think it's very important to try to stay there in touch with your audience, whoever your audience is, that whoever you've made it to be, that you're able to make contact with them and relate to what's going on around you, what's going on, what their concerns are in life. I know the whole idea with the education process has changed so dramatically. Where families are having to live together and deal with each other's problems every day, every minute of the day now. So it brings out a lot of new things, I think, in each one of us emotionally and perceptually. Trying to stay in there and relate to the audience is important.
Yeah, well, I think putting out music and just doing normal social media and like artist activities helps provide a bit of normalcy in these abnormal times. It lets you escape even just for a few minutes and hopefully gives you a minor reset to know that, there is some things that are still there for you that are normal, that function in that way, regardless of what's going on, that are positive.
Yeah. And I think this is, we have to find our own new normalcy in this period of time. And one thing good is it gives you time to create, to sit down, work with your instruments, work with the lyrics, work with the concepts, and try them in different forms to see what really comes out the best for you.
Absolutely. And I think that this new single is definitely evidence of that because it's not something that we would normally put out or just the style itself. So we've had a lot more freedom to just really let things evolve. So that's been a great opportunity.
One of the really good things I've seen you adapt to is being able to work with other people and other genres and still express Nohc in its full vitality, but it brings out new facets of it.
No, it's definitely great when you get to work with new artists and get a taste of their worlds and vice versa. I think that you reciprocate these characteristics of your own styles, and that's what really has been making some of these singles that we're putting out just so unique because you get a little bit of everything in there.
Each one seems to be its own unique universe.
Yeah.
But there's a continuity of quality, I would say. Quality and a style that, when people look back through the crux of time, they'll see that something new is evolving through this.
Yeah, it's that's always been interesting, especially with Sue, because as a songwriter, I have been told that I can be difficult to work with because I have this ability to have like complex melodies in a lot of my lyrical expressions, and it's thrown a lot of singers I've worked with off. So with Sue, I try to avoid that, and her voice is so unique that I try to carefully add what I think will bring out the best in a song while also making sure that what makes her so great isn't lost in it. And what makes it even easier is when I do write a melody and something might be a little too unique or sometimes a little too flat, depending on the song, she has this innate ability to just find like where she's going to be best and enhance anything that somebody gives her. So, it's a good challenge to write with and for her.
Someone had told me, a friend of mine had told me that he was working with Danny was explaining to him that on the guitar, each area of the guitar has its own story to tell. And by understanding the emotion or the quality of the music you're trying to bring about, naturally your hand will gravitate towards a certain area, whether it's a low thing that kind of, you know, kind of, you know, a surfing sort of thing with a nice melody to it, or it's a screeching blues thing where it takes off, or it's a heavy metal song that's got, you know, like Stairway to Heaven, it's got different evolutions of how the song forms itself and becomes around. You know, but it's learning. I think it, you know, for each one of us, it's a little bit different of how we feel those emotions and how we react to the lyrical content or the emotional content of the song, and bring it out by whether we're way up high or we're in the middle or we're punching it out from the bottom. You know, Sue, I think you have a natural ability to find that.
Thank you.
And make it, huh?
I try.
Well, I don't think we try in life. You either do or you don't.
Yeah, she's very modest about her vocal ability, so
That's a good thing. That's a good thing.
not a diva about it. At least much easier to work with her.
You know, do you have anything else you want to add to the conversation, or any areas I didn't talk on that you'd like to tell the listening and you watching audience?
I would just ask people that are interested already to just stay tuned, because we have so much more in store that's coming out later on this year and early next year. And it's going to embody a bunch of different influences and some great artists out there. And we just hope that we could continue to grow Nohc as a brand and, you know, really just reach people out there and hope they appreciate what we're doing.
Well, I think you got something that's great, that's unique, and the world is ready for, and hopefully they have open hands and open ears to listen to it and take it in. Let me ask you, where can people pick up the tune? Where can they find out more about Nohc, like, you know, history, songs you have out, you know, what the group's been doing the last few years?
You could go anywhere. It's nohcmusic.com, Nohc. And we're on Spotify, SoundCloud, Apple Music, you name it. So any social media platform you go on right now, you could find a link to the single and our website and any other music that we have out there.
That's great. So I'd like to encourage you all out there in Radio Land and in Media Land, go out, pick up the new single, investigate some of the older stuff they got. It's been one great stream of good music coming out. You can only think that a lot more great. Hey, we have some jackass just joined the show. Who's that up there? Looks like a donkey joined the crowd.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. I just had to put it on because, see the 14 acres that we have here? We're putting on a concert October 9th, 10th, and 11th. And we've got 14 acres, and I just got a hold of the EDM people in Tampa, and I'm trying to get you all out here so we can do something. And I have a donkey that's roaming all this property and protecting it, and I use this as a mascot for the concert we're doing, and I'm going to do the emceeing and the comedy for the concert. So I came up with this idea of the mask, and the donkey protects the area, and we're doing it for kids' playground. So I had to throw this in. I hope you don't mind.
No, it adds a little humor to the show, you know. Well, we'd like to thank you all for joining us this wonderful Friday afternoon. Hope your evening and your weekend is great. and go out and listen to some new Nohc stuff and pick up some for yourself.
And it was very nice meeting you. And I want to come bring you to the East Coast. And I know how tight the EDM groups are and everything. You got to talk to them before you can play. I think that's pretty together, you know? So you'll have a great day.
Thank you guys for having us.
Thanks for joining us, folks.